Hello, Margot. Margot! Margot! Margot. Margot. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está mi audiencia? You may have an apartment in 2 or 3 weeks. That's awesome. That's good news. That's big progress. Car life almost over. Hell yeah. That's the best news ever. That's really good. Congratulations. Indeed, indeed. Congratulations, Margot. I hope it works out. Slow stream tonight? Slow? I don't know why you always show up on my front page, but I guess it's meant to be. It must be. That's the only explanation. The universe wants you here. I like your fit today. Thank you. I like my fit as well. I just subscribed. Well, welcome to the fray. You're beautiful. Thank you. So, for those of you who were expecting the religious ode today, I have had yet more scheduling issues, and as a result, I have had to once again reschedule it to tomorrow. So it'll be the same time it was supposed to be today, but tomorrow instead, and I think, actually and really, that I can manage to make tomorrow's time. So just letting you know. If you want to learn more about the connection between right-wing evangelical fundamentalism here in the United States, Zionist fundamentalism among Jewish people, and its relationship to Israel, and Wahhabist and Qutbist fundamentalism in the Islamic world, then stick around and check out that show tomorrow. Let's all make this world a better place. Y'all take care. I like that attitude. We should all be trying to strive to make the world a better place, which is something you can do in your everyday life, believe it or not. Trump is the epitome of evil. I don't really think he's the epitome of evil, because to say that he's the epitome of evil would suggest that he is the source of it, and Donald Trump is not the reason. I mean, Donald Trump isn't even the reason why he is as fucked up as he is. In any normal, rational, just society, a man as avaricious and greedy as Donald Trump would have been kicked out on his royal ass a long time ago, before ever being allowed to fuck over black tenants in New York City. So, like, Donald Trump is a product of a corrupt society that values profit over people. Of course you hate Trump, haha. Yeah, I mean, I am a logical, reasonable, thinking person with a functional brain, capable of reading above a 6th grade level. So yes, it is pretty natural that I would hate Trump. Speaking of Trump, Trump extended the fake ceasefire that we know is not going to lead to any kind of lasting peace, knowing that if he did not extend the fake ceasefire, it would simply lead to a situation where they were forced to re-engage in hostilities. And Trump is, of course, desperate to exit this conflict because it has absolutely no mainstream public support. The political leaders he's surrounded by all support it, and like even the Democratic political leaders support it. When it comes to grassroots people, even people in his movement don't necessarily like the Iran war. More and more people are leaving MAGA every day because he can't seem to come to some kind of cogent and long-term peaceful solution when it comes to this conflict. So he had to extend the deadline. There was no other option. He couldn't find actual real peace. He couldn't make a real peace plan happen because America couldn't get confirmation that Iran's leaders would show up to the delegation. And that's pretty reasonable and understandable, honestly, when you consider the fact that the last few times the US and Iran has engaged in negotiations, they have either fallen through completely with no progress, or the United States and Israel have started bombing them in the middle of negotiations. Happened during Operation Midnight Hammer, happened during the last time that when this most recent conflict was initiated back in February, and it's likely to happen again. So it's unlikely, therefore, that any Iranian delegation is going to show up to any brokered peace talks between them and the US and Israel anytime soon. So yeah, let's talk about Trump, his incompetence, his inability to get us out of a war that he never needed to start, his inability to listen to people smarter than he is when it comes to the reality that Benjamin Netanyahu is not to be trusted, his inability to see through baseline flattery. Yeah, let's talk about it. Is this a girl? Yes. Jesus isn't real? Very true. Based, very based. Trump is a puppet for the IDF. Basically, Trump is a puppet for anybody who flatters him, though. Trump is a puppet for anybody who flatters him and maintains the right connections. It's as simple as that. He is a bona fide member of the billionaire class. He is part of the ownership class, and those are the class interests that he represents. It just so happens that billionaire interests are aligned on the matter of Israel with Zionists and other Christian fundamentalists. You don't need a formal conspiracy when interests collide. Let's do this. This should slow things down enough to where I can see what people are actually trying to say. You can continue to participate in the conversation simply by hitting that subscriber button. I don't mean to exclude anybody, except the spam bots and the, the people that aren't even people, basically. I want to exclude them, the people that have nothing meaningful or useful to say, because they're probably just computers being trained to say things on live chats. But other than that, I don't want to exclude anyone trying to have a real conversation, but we do have to slow down the chat a little bit, and this is a good way to do it. Let's see what things read like now. You're not a person? That's a really bitter and mean comment out of somebody with no profile picture and no reason for anyone to take them seriously or consider their opinion for more than a second. Literally flying miles a minute, so hard to moderate. I know it's tough, so that's why I hit the subscriber mode button whenever whenever stuff is going real fast like that. You kind of have to, just to make sure that everything remains readable and moderable. You get a lot of mean comments and you handle it with grace. You're not the first person to tell me that, though. And I really appreciate the compliment. And I'm glad that that's one of the compliments I get the most. But actually, the first person to tune me into the fact that that's like a big appeal to my channel was Paul Zigo. You can find him here on YouTube at Paul Zigo or at Deep Fat Fried. But I consider him like one of the two like YouTube mentors that I kind of have. Not that they necessarily agreed to that. I guess one of them kind of did, but I've watched their content for a really long time. I look up to them a lot, and hearing that that's like a big appeal to my personality and my channel is really fucking awesome, especially out of a fellow content creator. And it's nice that I see that sentiment reflected so often in my chat. I'm out of my mind. Do I really seem that out of my mind, chat? I feel like I'm a pretty normal person. I mean, I'm trans. I'm visibly punk, but like, does that make me all that weird? I'm not a fucking Nazi, you know? Why did you become a girl? Because, like, trying to be a boy felt like engaging in, like, I don't know, it felt like trying to learn how to live in an alien culture. That's the best way I can approximate it. Like, imagine that you were abducted one day by aliens, and you were, and they didn't do anything mean to you or anything at all. They just like transplanted you into their world as like a social experiment to see what happens. And you have to spend the rest of your life trying to figure out how to feel right within this culture that was completely not influenced by anything on Earth or any of the natural development that Earth went through, but instead it's a completely alien culture to which you have no familiarity and no grasp and no touchstone. That's what it's like trying to live as your gender assigned at birth as a trans person. That's what causes trans people to eventually break and decide to transition. The irreconcilability between what our bodies say, or, you know, like, basically the irreconcilability between who we are inside and what our body betrays us as. I think our ideals on tyranny align with Scripture. It does not condone tyranny leading by force and says that our enemies are principalities and powers and leaders in high places. Well, there you go. As it turns out, you should look into this philosophy called Christian anarchy. I am not a Christian anarchist because I'm not a fucking Christian, but if you're interested in like the different ways that the anarchist and anti-authoritarian tendencies that are present within the Bible can be extrapolated to a broader political philosophy, you should check out Leo Tolstoy and the broader movement of Christian anarchy. Are you spiritual at all? Sure, but I don't even know what that means really 100%. Like, I'm spiritual in the sense that I get a really wonderful feeling of wonder and appreciation and connection from being in particular places. And there's kind of a oneness and a feeling of being part of a greater whole that I can come in touch with sometimes. And if that's what people mean by spirituality, then I guess so, yeah. I definitely do sit around thinking about esoteria quite a bit. Like, what if trees actually do have feelings? They've just got no way of telling us about it, I like to think about these things, and I think you have to be at least a little bit spiritual to have an interest in that. Did you ever believe in God, and why don't you? I was raised a Pentecostal Christian. I was raised to believe in God, and I started having nightmares about it when I was pretty young. I started to have existential crises about it that were actually affecting my mental health on the day-to-day, and my mom brought me aside one day and was like, "What's bothering you, kid?" And I explained to her what was bothering me, and she explained to me that Christianity is not the only world religion, that in fact Christianity is just one among a 1,000 different world religions, all of which have different ideas about what happens when you die. And then she told me about not her, but the variety of Christianity that she was raised under. She, at that time, and still to this day, was more or less functionally an atheist, but spiritual, kind of like me, but even more so. And she told me about the religion that she was raised with, which was Jehovah's Witnesses, who believe that only 144,000 people of all the billions of people who've lived are going to heaven, and that everybody else is going to hell, but hell is nothing to be scared of because hell is a grave. So I was like, oh, but they believe in everything else? And she was like, more or less. There's some complications that make them pretty uncool, but yeah, basically. And I was like, oh, well, who's right? And she's like, exactly. Who is? And I was like, hmm. And I, to this day, have never thought of a good retort other than, damn, I guess you're right. There's no way of knowing. Like, literally, how would you know? SPLC News shocked me. Worked for them with Sanders. Holy shit. Yeah, Joey Fangus, since you brought it up, let's talk about the SPLC a little bit. So, Department of Justice is charging the Southern Poverty Law Center on some charge related to their having paid informants in different right-wing and extremist groups and shit like that, which I gotta say is not only a fundamental violation of the First Amendment, but also a really fucking horrible look for an administration that's already spent the vast majority of their time engaging in a concerted effort to strip Americans of their civil rights. Old way of being a fearful Christian family, in my opinion, is wrong. My church is all love and free childcare. Yeah, dude, that's the way it should be. Although I don't think the church I was raised in meant to. I don't know, dude. It's hard because I don't want to. Like, the preacher I grew up with was a very, very kind man, and the church that I grew up going to was a very generous church. And the pastor gave of himself very openly, and that church gave of themselves very openly, and they didn't demand much out of their parishioners. So it's hard for me to look back with bad memories on that church, but it's also impossible for me to extricate that church from my memories of hellfire. And I don't know if that was like an active intention on the part of my old pastor, Brother Steve, and not like you'll be able to track him down. He had such a generic name. I don't know if that was intention on the part of Brother Steve or if that was something else. I don't know if that. I can't imagine that it was. He just does not seem like the kind of guy who thinks about things because it's funny. Like, if you talk to him outside of a sermon, you might hear like explanations that don't seem all that biblical when you consider the like fire and brimstone rhetoric that I would sometimes hear in church. On the other hand, one must wonder if the intention was not laid out before my pastor, for example, ever went to seminary. And maybe he's just one in a long tradition of people who have made that kind of evangelism their main practice. God doesn't force, he gives free will to choose to love and follow him. Okay, so let's just because it's interesting. I'm not mad at you. I'm not trying to pit you or anything, but because this whole chat is based on me doing back and forth with the chat, entertain me on something. Kaya, does God have a plan? I'm asking Kaya specifically. Okay. Does God know everything? Okay. So if God has a plan and God knows how everything is going to go, then I also have to ask, are things going according to God's plan? Let me ask this, actually. Is it possible for things to not go according to God's plan? Is it possible for things to not go according to God's plan? In other words, is it possible for something to happen that that God did not plan, did not intend, and didn't think about before? Hmm. No, nothing catches God off guard. I'm waiting for Kaya's answer specifically. You got all the wax out? It's not wax that I'm picking at. I'm not. You notice I'm not going deep in the ear. My fingers are too fucking fat to fit in my ear holes anyway. I've got this weird thing, and it's very strange because I literally just got done washing my face and doing a shave and all that and washing up, and I always get my ears and get behind my ears and stuff, like whether I'm showering, washing my face, like whichever one, and I would think that I would have felt that earlier. But now that I've actually scratched it a little, it feels like maybe it's like one of those weird ear pimples or something. Ugh, gross. Anyway, very interesting question, but no, everything is according to his will and his plan, but ultimately people make their own choices. He gives them the ability to choose right or wrong. But those two things are in contradiction, Kaya. My final question to you would have been, how do you have free will? And you can still choose to answer it if you can. How do you possibly have free will if everything is going according to God's plan and God knows everything, exactly what choices you're going to make, exactly what line things are going to go down? How can you possibly have free will? You might have the perception of free will, but under your model, there is no way you have even limited will. You would have the illusion of will, but ultimately you would just be a pawn in God's great, celestial game, a puppet dancing on God's fingers, basically. Do you believe in the simulation theory? Well, now you're getting into some interesting territory. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't dismiss it because it's an unfalsifiable hypothesis, but I also don't accept it for the same reason. I do think it's interesting, but no, I don't think I necessarily believe in the simulation theory. It's just not that compelling to me because ultimately simulation theory implies that at any time the power could go off in the poor fucking, sap's basement that our universe is stored in, and then we all just collectively die. Sounds horrible to me. It's one, no, once again, another thing that is neither provable as reality nor desirable personally as fantasy. So I don't believe in it, but I accept that it might be the case. Just like, I'm an agnostic atheist. I accept that there might be some kind of God out there, but the fact that every single world religion disagrees as to the core tenets and basic moralities of their religions, I don't think we've got any way of transacting with that being or telling what its will is or anything else. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please hit that like button. We are sitting at 24 minutes and only 14 viewers. Remember, if half of you guys hit that like button right now, that would be 47 likes on top of the 14 we already have. So just double tap that screen or hit the button if you've got it. Devil symbols everywhere. This is a demon. I hate it when people like you make these self-righteous, presumptuous comments without even entertaining the topic that we're talking about or figuring out what the conversation is, because we're literally talking Christian theology right now. I'm an agnostic atheist who acknowledges there might be some kind of God out there, but says that we have no way of knowing, and also that the Christian God is provably false. The Abrahamic God, broadly, provably false. Qualities that should be demonstrable that are clearly not demonstrated anywhere in reality, etc., etc. And it's really fucking fascinating to me that you came in here and made a couple of presumptuous comments based on some symbols you see on my set without any interaction with me or any kind of probing to see what my real beliefs are. I sound like fucking Gollum sometimes. Holy shit. God's plan and free will coexist because knowing isn't controlling. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Knowing everything and being the creator of the world is exactly controlling. Yeah. What? That doesn't even make any sense. And you would not take this logic if you applied it somewhere in the real world. If dude, I'm realizing right now that I'm cribbing a lot of these arguments from the fucking manatee argument that the DP guys did with fucking Brett Keane like 10 years ago. Whatever, you'll have to forgive me for that, but it's not my fault you guys come with a weak sauce, okay? So if I built a giant robot, right, and I programmed that robot to destroy every single person in LA, and I knew for a fact, because I did a lot of stress testing on it, that it would be able to do this task, at least most of it, before being bombed to destruction by the National Guard. And I build this giant robot, and I unleash it on LA. Are the people going to blame me or the giant robot? Are you seeing what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? How do you feel about the terrorist funding country at war with right now? I feel like Iran should achieve victory because our presence in the Middle East has been nothing but a detriment to that region, and I disagree with the policy goals that the people in charge are aligned around. I don't think the Greater Israel needs to happen. I don't believe in the fucking rapture, and I don't think that Israel would be a good steward of the Middle East. So I don't think there's any good policy, reason, or justification for our continued presence in that region that does not involve propping up fundamentalist religion or billionaire profit interests. Are you the perfect judge that actually knows the difference between right and wrong? There is no perfect judge that actually knows the difference between right and wrong. There is none. What you're engaging in right now is called presuppositional apologetics. It's a type of Christian argumentation that presupposes God's existence in every conversation and in every premise. So you cannot ask me a question without assuming that I share your worldview, making me fundamentally better equipped in this debate. You didn't read it all? Oh, god damn it. This better be worth it. This better be worth my fucking time. So do you have a reason why you're destroying LA? Are the people evil and mocking you? What? That wouldn't make a fucking difference. The conversation was not about God's, moral rectitude or lack thereof. The question was about free will. The moral implications of the actions involved are a total aside. Stuffing skull tag. You know I'm a fucking atheist, right? Let me explain something to you. The best way to argue with Christians and really get them to understand why their religion doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense is not to constantly batter them over the head with prove God. Because most of them have accepted at some point, somewhere deep in their soul, that there is no proof. Not really. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they can fucking make a week of fucking association with, but there ain't no goddamn proof of no God, and they know that. If there was, they would just be like demonstrating it to the world, and it would be an accepted fact, and science would recognize it. Like, if God had demonstrable qualities that could be tested by our instruments, we would do so, and his existence would be fact. It's not, because he doesn't. None of these gods exist. They're all fucking bullshit. They're all myths. They are all clumsy ways of helping human beings relate to their surroundings and feel better about death. I'd love to have a call debate with you if you're able. I tell you what. I'll tell you what, if we can get $50 in the next 10 minutes, we'll do it. If we can get $50 donations in the next 10 minutes, you can either do that, not you in particular, but any of you guys who want to help contribute to this crack goal, not a goal for crack, but this crack goal is in like it's out of nowhere, just cracking like a firework. If you want to contribute, either do Cash App or Super Chat, either way is appreciated. And if we get up to $50 within the next 10 minutes, so it's 33 minutes in now, at 43 minutes, we will see where we're at. If so, I'll do it. Because that'll justify the effort that I'm going to have to go through to go inside and set up StreamYard and fucking write out a title and, you know, add you on Discord and all this other shit. I'm willing to do it, but I'm also kind of lazy and I'm incentivized best by money. He needs money. He has no wiener. Who are you talking about, Big Max Orange? Bro knows he can't win a debate and knows he ain't getting that money. That's the excuse. I made $400 on my live stream last night. Are you fucking kidding me? I set that goal a bit low to make it like extra attainable because we don't have like 200 people in here right now. We're sitting around 75. But I could have set that bitch to be 100 and there's a decent chance we'd make it. It was nice popping in. Take care, Phoebe. My name is Sarah, and I'll be back next time I see you on. Sweet. Nice to meet you, Sarah. You know, I have an online ex named Sarah. I haven't talked to her in years. Let's see this 50 then. We'll see. Like I said, you'll have 10 minutes. That's up to you. Maybe the people don't want to see that. Online ex, dude, I was 14. Cut me some slack, okay? I was like 14 or 15, okay? And I'm 27 now, so that'll tell you a little bit about what decade that was. It was like the early 2010s, and that was a pretty common thing back then, especially among teenagers. I think it's still a pretty common thing now, but I wouldn't know. I don't want a relationship with God. I want a relationship to be elevated across the world of humans. I want all barriers gone. Land, sea, air, currency, race, beliefs. Humans should live a life. Yes! Yes! No gods, no kings, no masters. Human beings are one species. We can be one people with a million different cultures. This is real. Dude, people are fucking morons, bro. Imagine creating an alt called YouTube Guidelines Association to try and scare somebody into ending a live stream because you're a fucking retard that doesn't know how to actually debate with somebody or talk to them in their chat, and you've got nothing better to do with your life than to sit around creating useless fucking like bot accounts to troll in live streams in. That is a level of terminally online to which I will never relate. Do you realize what you're doing with your life? I don't know. What am I doing with my life? Besides that, what do you like? What do you know about my life outside my streams? This Dr. Pepper Zero feeling mighty fine on my taste buds. I don't like any of those weird fucking dude, I can't handle it. The diet sodas, the zeros, the lights, all that. Nah, man. Hit me with that full fat, full flavor, full sugar shit. I don't even give a fuck. Because I don't drink soda very often. At this point in my life, I mostly drink water with a couple of iced coffees in the morning. Well, I don't even make them iced anymore. They're just like lukewarm. I don't like. I don't really like warm beverages. I prefer things to be like room temperature, which is funny because I definitely used to prefer things iced. And I really think it's just the fact that our freezer got too full and built fucking, it's really not, it's not even that it's so full, it's that it's full of fucking ice. The way it's designed, it just builds up ice constantly. And it became kind of unfeasible to keep a bag of ice in there. And I guess that happened like 6 months ago, and we really haven't had like regular ice in the house since then. And in the meantime, I have kind of gotten used to having almost all of my drinks pretty much room temperature. And it's always kind of like a nice treat when I have something that's got some ice in it. But at this point, I'm starting to not enjoy it as much as I used to. Weird. My word, do you prefer non-cool pillows too? No, I definitely still like the cool pillow. I see your Zelda pen on your guitar, strap with fan. W fan, yes. That was actually a gift from Taylor, the person right below you. A lot of countries don't care for ice, very strange to me. Yeah. Well, what I figured out about my personality is that if I ever go to Europe, which I do plan on it at some point, um, I'm apparently going to get on well with the drink culture there. Because I'm not going to need to ask for ice all the time. See, it just goes to show you, all those Christians that were rearing for like a call-in debate and all that shit, you put the goal out there, you say, all right, $50 within the next 10 minutes. And it just goes to show you, man, the audience does not want to see it. The audience is disinterested, even though it would be in the spirit of the upcoming Religiousode, which is going to be happening tomorrow, 6 to 12. It was supposed to happen today, 6 to 12, but I had way more to do today than I fucking realized, and that's my bad. That's just my bad. I'm still fucking learning how to get used to doing this and doing more professional content while also having a life. So, forgive me. The drink culture there is they don't carry water bottles. I think it's weird that we do. If they want to drink, they go in somewhere, get one, drink it, then carry on. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just can't get behind them on that. And you know what? The fucking proof of that is that if you're hiking somewhere in Europe, that's when the water bottle comes out. The only difference is in Europe, it's very unusual. I think the real difference is maybe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the real difference is that in Europe, it is way less likely. You're way less likely to see like your average European walking around with some cheap bottle or some cheap plastic bottle of water. Like, it's not like they just probably aren't going to be doing that. But when they do use a bottle, it's going to be like one of those reusable, like steel bottles that you can buy at the store that are meant to last forever. And, like, you don't buy the fucking big plastic bottle anymore. Now you've got a water dispenser in your house and you just refill that jug. And I think that is honestly a better way to be. But there is a utility in bottles, and I'm going to defend Americans' tendency to carry them around everywhere, especially if we're doing touristy shit, because we fucking stay hydrated. We stay hydrated AF. But we should encourage people to stop buying plastic bottles and just, like, buy yourself a fucking metal bottle. Like, it's one of those things. One of the things I think about a lot is that when it comes to individual consumer actions, there's not a lot you can do as far as like boycotting shit that you need, like regular staples and stuff. There's not that much you can do. There's some of it you can do by growing your own food at home to the extent that you can, by trying to source what food you can't grow at home from, more local sources. There's ways you can kind of divorce yourself from the broader capitalist model. But fuck, what was I gonna say? Um oh yeah. But one of the things you can do that is pretty simple and would actually have like a profound effect if like 50% of Americans did it. Like if 50% of Americans all of a sudden decided, were convinced to buy a reusable, sealable water bottle that is refillable and infinitely reusable, that's going to last them 5, 10, 25 years, that would drastically reduce the demand for bottled water in this country to the point where it might actually cause like a pretty notable dip in the amount of plastic throughput, basically. This chat is capitalism? No, actually, because I've only made $2 tonight. If this chat was capitalism, I would be getting paid way more in the form of super chats. By the way, you guys passed the 10-minute goal deadline, so now it doesn't count. You should still feel free to donate, but the 10-minute crack goal has passed. If I give a $2 super chat, thank you. Add me on Discord just for fun and hopefully mutual agreement. Yeah, sure. Sure. I can't do it right this second because I don't have a second phone, but I'll look into it. You get what you earn. In this specific instance, I think it was because I offered a goal that the audience flat out didn't want to see. I think it says more about the potential of the topic and less about my potential as a performer, but you could be right. Farmers exist? Who said they didn't? Stainless steel cups are becoming the American culture, especially among the 30 and under crowd. Wallace, Stanley, Ozark, choose your fighter. Yep. Thank you, Nicole Hahn, for the high five. High five. But yeah, no. Stainless steel cups are they're a step in the right direction, but ultimately, here's my hot take. Water bottles, water bottles serve obviously a multitude of different functions within our weird little American culture, but one function they serve that I think a lot of people don't think about unless they're getting out and touching grass regularly is providing you quick and easy, replaceable and replenishable access to fresh, drinkable water when you're, out there, like I keep saying, touching grass, like out there at the zoo or at a park or at a national forest or something. It's like you've got 3 or 4 water bottles. God, I hate those. I hate those 2 words in combination because I always want to say it water bottles. Like a fucking, I don't know, like I've got a lisp or something. I don't. Anyway, you got 4 or 5 water bottles in your backpack and you feel more secure. But really, you could replace that 4 or 5 plastic water bottles with 2 or 3 metal water bottles of a larger capacity, and you would be better off because you wouldn't be, you would probably not be ingesting microplastics or risking any kind of weird chemical exchange between the water and the fucking plastic if it should get too hot. There's obviously going to be more capacity in a reusable metal water bottle than in a plastic one. And you're not going to be contributing to the demand of plastic in our economy. Waddle bottle. Wall ball. Yeah, dude. Waddle bottle. I can't remember what they're called, but there's these giant stainless steel jugs my active friends used to carry. Giant stainless steel jugs? What? Dude, I tell you the coolest fucking water bottle I ever had. It was actually plastic, but it was a reusable plastic water bottle, which is fine. Reusable plastic, there's actually a case to be made for. Like, honestly, if we got way better about plastic recycling and way more responsible about it, and then started focusing on only making like long-term use reusable plastics and like not designing things so that it needs a ton of like one-time use plastic, I really think that we could get ahead of this like plastic waste and plastic in the ocean and microplastics everywhere fucking problem. But the coolest water bottle I ever had was, like I said, a reusable plastic water bottle, but it was like designed like a canteen. So it was round with an opening at the top and a little flat at the bottom. And then on the outside, it had this material. I don't know exactly what material it was, and a metal band around it, and then another little metal band, and a hook on either side, positioned just a little bit above the center of gravity. And it had a big strap that came with it. And I used to use that when I was doing live action role play, because it not only did it provide reliable hydration that I could always refill and keep on me at any time, but it also just looked cool as shit. No matter what era the character I was playing came from, it just looked cool as shit. It was a fucking canteen, man. I miss my canteen. Dude, I want to start a LARP group for the like city that I live somewhat kind of not really nearby. Nearby is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Love this little trans person. They politically can argue both sides. Those who can't do are typically smart as fuck. I can argue both sides? Do I? Do I do that? All right. Oh, hey, I'll take it. I don't know if it's accurate, but I'll take it. Are you in Mo or Ma? Neither. I'm in Miss. I wish I was in Mo or Ma. Oh, I've been working on a song, by the way. I've got the chorus ready. I'm rewriting the words. I'm rewriting the words to Piano Man by Billy Joel. And I'm rewriting it to be about T.J. Kirk. Sing us a song, you're the banana man. Sing us a song of your ass. 'Cause we're all in the mood for a melody. And that melody better be crass. I've been working on like an initial verse, but it's hard for me to land on the right one. I feel like if Piano Man is about a pianist at a bar, Banana Man has to be about a DFF meetup. Discord is in my channel description. Okay. Tired Hellhound. Cool. Thank you for the $2. I will, let me see here. Let's see here. It doesn't say. Join Tired Hellhound 5229. Okie dokie. I will check it out after this stream. You don't argue for both sides. You just are willing to listen and see a point for certain positions. Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I think for most positions, I mean, you kind of have to be like, you know, like an anti-Semite or something. And by that, I don't mean anti-Israeli. You can be as anti-Israeli as you fucking want. Please. Yes. Israel is the great Satan. That is a point of fact. But, like, that's an entirely different beast from the lingering ghost of anti-Semitism, where it still does exist. A lot of people get fucking accused of anti-Semitism for just being anti-Zionist, and I'm not one of those people that makes that, that gets those confused or anything. I just, you know, like, that's probably the position that I am most unamenable to, that I find the most ridiculous. Maybe not the most, honestly. Well, maybe, because you know what? Here's why. Because it is the, like, oldest and stupidest fucking conspiracy theory, and people like that, they always reliably believe in all the other crazy horse shit that some crazy, like, violent bigot is going to believe in, you know? So it really is kind of like the nexus of a lot of different hatreds for some fucking reason. See what she's doing? She's arguing / contemplating with herself. Love that. Well, one of the reasons why I think streaming has worked out for me so well is because I will be real with you guys. I kind of talk to myself. Not all the time, but I will talk to myself to work through problems. I can, like, have a silent internal narrative, especially if I'm around other people or in a public setting or whatever. But sometimes, if I'm alone or whatever, it's fun to just let that play out through my own voice. And I guess it can help give weight to the vision, I guess. But it comes in handy a lot when I'm streaming, because it allows me to go off on these tangents, to keep myself occupied, to find something to talk about and something to make hay with. It's kind of a skill you have to have if you're going to be successful in this business. I think it's one of the only reasons why I've been able to preserve, you know, any kind of, like, lasting audience. Me too. Who can help me better than me? Well, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to feel any shame or guilt about it. It's a very natural human thing to do. But a lot of people do feel shame and guilt about it because it's a thing that people are made fun of for, because it's a thing that crazy people will do a lot. But, like, because crazy people will do it in public, if you are caught doing it in private, people start to think you might be a little crazy. And it's like, well, what the hell? Obviously, I cut it off. I fucking cut that out when you came in the room. So obviously, I'm not insane. If I was insane, I would have kept talking to myself while you were standing right there, looking you dead in the eyes. And then I would have went back to what I was doing, continued talking to myself. But I'm not insane, which is why I cut that out and gave you an awkward look when you came in and went back to sweeping. Gotta think about this shit. Gotta think about the social distinction, you know? Private life versus public life. Very different things. Very different things. Every time Deep Fat Fry does one of these like horrible comedian segments, I always think, I wonder if there's any bits from my streams that I could like streamline into a hot 5, a hot 10, something like that. I haven't done it, but I think about it sometimes because, goddamn, even I got more charisma than some of these dumb motherfuckers. Right, because they're interfering with our conversation, me and me. Yeah. I know lives. I have the best lives, believe me. Yeah. Yeah. Free PR, Puerto Rico. Yes, free Puerto Rico. Keep overthinking. Keep being you. Thank you for the $4.99. You know what? That's a huge vote of confidence. I appreciate that. You know what? Did I miss a fucking super chat earlier? I'm just now realizing I might have. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Period. Yep. I'm based with right lean. I try to be respectful because it makes things easier to talk when both parties remain respectful. I don't know why I chose to sing your comment. Sorry if you took offense to that. I mean none. Yeah, definitely. You have a lot more. It goes back to that old farmer's adage: you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, which is not true, by the way. It's not true. I have no idea why that's an adage, because the opposite is actually true. If you are making a homemade fly trap, one of the easiest homemade fly traps you can make is, I'm not kidding, taking a soda bottle, cutting it about 2/3 of the way up, inverting that top part, putting it down, obviously like kind of swish out the bottle with some water and everything. You don't have to clean the fuck out of it because of what to do. Then you poke a hole on either side of that bitch, then either put a skewer through it and clip the ends, or find some other way to fasten the little holes you've made in the inverted top part, and you can hang that from some spot after you've filled it with a solution of water with just a drop of Dawn dishwashing liquid and a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar. Not a tablespoon or two of fucking honey, a tablespoon or two of fucking apple cider vinegar. So I have no idea why that adage says that, because it's actually the opposite. But, if you don't know that and you take it for face value, it is actually true of human beings. Does it work for gnats? Yeah, it works. Well, I don't know if it works for gnats, actually. But it works for anything that flies into it. You might want to look for specific baits for gnats. It just depends on whether what you're talking about is a fruit fly, which it will work for, or an actual gnat, which is like a different thing entirely. Honestly, like the best thing you can do for gnats a lot of the time is just orienting your spaces so that you're not near the places that they like to gather. Singing comments might be an amazing niche for YouTube. Well, it wouldn't be original to me, and I'm not the only person who does it. Black Forger will do that if she's reading out a comment sometimes for a video, and she'll just like sing like randomly and burst in a song at different points and shit. And she's also got that little song for her particular kind of videos, the one of these is poison, one is a snack, love her. Then like and I stole the fucking singing comments thing from TJ, so it would not be original to me. It's not a niche I can fill. Thank you for fucking the gift, Mr. Flower. I appreciate that. Hell yeah, Mr. Flower, another gift. Look at that. Nice. It's like 2 a.m. right now. My Novlo gets off at 4. Probably going to be on here still. Nice. Trophy cake. Hell yeah. Yummy. So many gifties. So many gifties. Look at that. The clapping seal. The gifts from Mr. Flower. If I was some flying insect with my ADHD, I'd be dead in 1 second. Squirrel! Yeah, I don't blame you a bit. I've always, honestly, after I had my existential crisis with Christian religion, I then started to look into other religions. And one of the fucking existential crises I had was thinking, oh, thank you guys. You guys are fucking showing out with the gifts tonight. Getting a wide variety of people contributing. Holy shit, thank you guys. Fuck, what was I saying? God damn it, I'm gonna read up to... let me see here. Oh, right. I used to think about like the concept of reincarnation, right? And get so upset thinking like, what if that turns out to be the truth? And then I get reincarnated as something that's like horrible because I didn't do good enough in life. But then I thought about something and I was like, wait a minute. I have no memory of any past fucking lives. Oh, like, what the fuck? I have no memory of no past lives, so what are the chances that I'm even going to know how miserably off I am if I'm a snail in my next life? And so I cease to be afraid of it. I definitely grew up rather religious, straight up in bell choir. Oh my goodness, yeah. Even more religious than I was raised. You used to think this way? Which way? Which way? What if you're incarnated but you're cremated? God says all bodies rise and you are dust. I mean, there's Christian sects that let you cremate, though. There's Christian churches that'll let you do cremation, so I imagine that there's some kind of liturgical justification for that. Upon looking into my birth chart, I have lived a life feeling oppressed by circumstance because I was an oppressor in a past life. Fuck that guy I used to be, bro. Ruined it. Feeling oppressed by circumstance because I was an oppressor in a past life. Dude, I love esoteric ideas like this. I don't know how much credence I can give them, but like I've wondered about this type of thing sometimes, you know? I've wondered, like I said, I was just telling you guys I've wondered about reincarnation. So, you know, like one of the things I wondered about was because I was always so fascinated by World War II specifically. I always wondered like, what if I'm like the reincarnation of somebody that was alive back then? Whoa, dude. You know, there's some ideas that I had that would fall in line with that if it were true of me too. But we could also just feel oppressed because there are genuine forces of oppression that are active and have their fingers on all of our lives. The preacher just need your money. Yeah, I agree with you there. I do prefer Christians. Like Taylor's a Christian like this. As far as I know, she doesn't have a pastor or anything like that, but she's got like a personal relationship, I would say. And I think that that's preferable to being like totally indoctrinated to one specific variety of Christianity. Oh man, let's see, what else happened? Oh, did you guys hear that Iran fired on 2 ships? Yeah, so much for the ceasefire. I don't even know why they're keeping up the auspices of a ceasefire when it's obvious that Iran is still trying to exercise control over the strait. And the U.S. keeps saying, through Trump and Hegseth and other people besides, that we are engaged in a blockade of the strait. How the fuck is there a ceasefire if we're engaged in a blockade? Because that is an act of war. So it flatly makes no sense. Iran doesn't want this trouble. Iran doesn't want this trouble, but like as long as the US continues to like try and inflict our will upon the Middle East, they're going to have this trouble. And so they're going through the trouble now in furtherance of the long game. Basically, Iran believes, I think rightfully so, that if they keep the pressure up long enough this time, they might actually get the US to reverse course. Maybe not in Trump's term, but maybe with the next president. Maybe they can get America to reverse course so hard that we make our aid to Israel conditional upon them no longer attacking their neighbors, upon them like completely changing the nature of their relationship with Palestine. They are pursuing a specific strategy of attrition with the long-term goal of the weakening or eradication of U.S. domination in the Middle East. And the irony of it is, I think once that's achieved, I think that Iran will very quickly move to normalize relations with the U.S. I think that once that's achieved, like 6 months after that, once they see, okay, Israel's actually being stamped down on, Benjamin Netanyahu's being arrested, all right, maybe some things happening, okay? 6 months after that point, I think that they'll be like, we would like to sell our oil to the Americans now. We have decided that you are to be trusted. You have made the necessary changes to your policy in the region, and we now trust to engage in commerce with you and trade, and we will be resuming such contact post-haste. And I think it'll be awesome. Iran, honestly, despite being led by a theocracy, seems like they're a hell of a lot more reasonable than the U.S. in this situation. Definitely upset Trump got involved in war, but honestly, F this crazy oppressive Islamic stuff. Oh, I don't like it either. I just think that this is the rare fucking example, the only example I can ever think of in my lifetime of the Islamic theocracy in question actually acting on the whole a lot more reasonably and with a lot more restraint than the U.S. and like Israel and other forces acting against them. Like when we were battling against ISIS, for example, everybody knows how fucking brutal they are, okay? But like Iran is not nearly as brutal as it's made out to be. Like, yeah, there were some protesters killed, but what a lot of people don't tell you is that Mossad and the CIA were actively getting like fucking, what is it called? Cyberlink? What is the thing? The Elon Musk's satellite internet thing. They were getting them those things. Starlink. They were getting them Starlink portals and guns. And those fucking armed protesters ended up opening up on other protesters. And it was those armed protesters who ended up getting killed by Iranian police. That's what the most reliable reporting indicates. That's not to say that Iran's never engaged in any oppressive action towards its own fucking citizens. Of course it fucking has. It's an Islamic theocracy. But we are made to believe in this country that Iran is this like unique evil that wants to destroy everything and conquer the world with nuclear fire. And that's just not reality. Yeah, that's not fucking reality. Like that's not their thing. You know, do they want to establish the fucking like reestablish the caliphate? Maybe. Do they want to see like the whole of the Middle East like ruled over by Islamic powers? Maybe. But that's a damn far sight from the vision of world conquest that you're sold by the Western media when it comes to Iran's intentions. And if you think Iran wanting to possibly reestablish the caliphate is bad, wait till you hear about what America wants to do with Greater Israel. Glad you said we are made to believe. Right. You always have to be conscious of the spin. You always have to be conscious of the spin. I'm not a fan of Muslim religion. The concept sounds good. I have Muslim friends from Jordan. We don't always see religiously, but religion is as important. Exactly. I'm not a fan of Islam, but I'm totally friendly with Muslims. For example, there's a gas station near me that's staffed by mostly Yemeni men. And I think they might all be brothers because they kind of have like a family resemblance going on. But a couple weeks back, I asked them about where they were from. I did so in a very friendly way, and they didn't take any offense. And they confirmed that they were speaking Arabic back behind there, which I thought they were, but I couldn't be sure. And like, now whenever I go in to see them, I'm always like, man, this feels corny as shit, and maybe this is like a total fucking suburban white girl thing to do, but ever since we had that lovely conversation, I walk in, I'm like, Assalamu alaikum, and we do the transaction. We've got like an even better rapport now, which we always had a good rapport, but they'll joke around with me. I'll ask for one pack of cigar wraps, and they'll be like, "You want the rest of the pack? The rest of the pack? One pack? Yes, the cardboard pack." And I'm like, "No, one pack of 2 cigars." And they get a good chuckle out of it. I get a good chuckle out of it. And then at the end, I'm like, "Salam." And it's like this basic gesture of respect that me, as a Southern white girl, can give them as Yemeni guys who probably migrated within the last 20 years of their life to this area. Probably don't have a lot of people that are like not only familiar with Muslims, but are not scared of them, are not worried about Arabs or Yemenis or people from the Middle East broadly. And like, to me, that is something that you can do and a mindset that you can have, even if you don't like necessarily respect Islam as a religion or think that it's got any legitimacy as like a worldview. I once talked to some people I believed to be maybe from Guyana, but I didn't want them to think I was one of those weirdos, so I didn't ask them where they were from. Well, I tried to I tried to be as nice and unobtrusive about it as I could. I was like, okay, I've always wanted to ask, and I hope you don't think I'm weird, but sometimes I hear you guys speaking the most beautiful language back behind the counter, and I'm just wondering, where are you guys like from originally? And I don't know, he seemed delighted by the question. He seemed genuinely fascinated that there was some, Southern white girl all interested in where they came from and their story and everything. And that's when he told me that they're from Yemen and they speak Arabic and all that. That makes me giggle, VQ, VQ. I mean, I had to, I don't know, man. there is a part of me that is stuck in the 90s and the Rainbow Coalition. Fucking let's all get along, let's embrace each other's cultures and learn about each other and greet each other in each other's languages kind of. I'm sorry, man. Is that wrong of me? I don't want it to be wrong of me. It feels good. And people seem to like it. Let's take a little joy in our differences. You know? Take a little joy in the things that bring us together and the things that set us apart. I got sleepy kitty on me. Now I can't move. Sigh. You don't need to go nowhere. That's like when I got a sleepy baby on me. It's like, well, I didn't have nowhere important to go. Exactly. I've been friends for years. I like being friends with everyone so I can understand them. I used to dislike Latinos, but I ended up dating a Nicaraguan after I began to be friends with legals. Oof, oof. Well, at least you recognize that you had a bias and at least you worked on it and you've tried to address it. Now, if you can only address your bias against undocumented people, you got to understand a lot of people don't go the legal route because they are escaping intense pressure to which most of us can't even relate. And I've been homeless and I don't even think I can relate to that kind of pressure. You got me thinking of the 90s Differences commercial, the horribly racist one they didn't intend to be. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, see, that's why I try to be like a bit more nuanced and educated than that mindset, because there was a lot of unintentionally, but definitely racist shit that happened as a result of this mindset from well-intentioned white people, mostly, well-intentioned white liberals that were like, let's fucking fight racism by embracing all our differences and looking into the shit and all this. And, you know, I try not to do that. I try to distinguish myself from that. But there's a part of the intentionality behind it that I feel like is a part of my overall attitude towards coalition building, I guess you'd say. Solidarity. Oh, shit. I think that good-natured mentality but accidental outcome is still happening today. It wouldn't surprise me, especially in some like media instances. I mean, maybe I did it just now with that little story. I don't know. But I think being self-aware about it is probably the difference, right? That 90s commercial was definitely not self-aware enough. Me too. I'm from Indianola and moved to Pahrump, Nevada. Lived in a tent in the desert for 285 days. It was so much better being with the coyotes at 11 at night. Dude. Bro. Elena. Fucking how old are you? Dude, you're from fucking... Okay, we're both from Mississippi. That's fucking cool enough. I don't remember exactly what part of the state Indianola's in, but it sounds vaguely familiar. Well, the reason I ask is just to figure out, like, what are the chances that we know each other, I guess, or that we did know each other at some point in our lives. Because Indianola sounds familiar enough for me to think, like, why does that sound familiar? So, Okay, that's why it sounds fucking familiar. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Good old Parchman. Dude, people don't know. People don't know about Parchman. That shit is fucking crazy. People are starting to, I guess, know about it now because, like, Prisoners keep getting cell phones smuggled in, and like a lot of them have social media personalities now. So I guess people are finding out now. But for the longest time, Parchment was one of those like you know how there are hidden gems in the forms of like really cute little nice high quality restaurants that you wouldn't have thought about because they're hole in the walls. Well, Parchment was kind of like a hidden turd for a long time. Mass migration is at its core from a position of love, um, not being malicious like some folks on the right might accuse, but unintended outcomes beyond initial empathy. I feel like there might be more to this comment. Yeah, no, I recognize that there are definitely unintentional outcomes that come from illegal immigration. It's just that if you look at the numbers, it doesn't seem like there's enough of an economic disaffection caused by that to justify the massive crackdown or the policy path that we've chosen with illegal immigration. Can I have your stylist phone number? I don't give out my phone number on the internet. Fool. Missionary trip to Texas was my whole reason my views on changed on Latinos, how ICE was and illegals. I have sympathy compared to back then, but Stats and other legal buddies of mine made my opinion. I'm good with mass migration, just if you're not legal, no government programs for them at cost of taxpayer. Well, as far as I know, outside of a few very specific cities that outline exceptions or like allowances or whatever, like it's not like a thing. Like I said, outside of a few specific cities and places where that's a thing, it's not really a thing widely. Like if you're an undocumented immigrant living in Mississippi, you're probably not going to be getting a whole lot of government benefits of any kind. Indica or sativa? I don't know what this is actually. I think it's mixed. Are you role playing as a Girl Scout? I've never in my life seen a Girl Scout wear a patch vest. Where do you get your information from? A variety of sources, like any intelligent person does. If I want to know about a specific topic, a lot of times I'll start on the Wikipedia article and look at the different sources, see what articles they're pulling from. If those articles pull from other articles, maybe I'll check that out. When it comes to news and current events, I'll check out the AP, CNN, Fox News, Al Jazeera. Um, and then usually one of these like more opinion based places, like openly opinion based places, not one of these places that kind of like try to hide behind a veil of journalistic legitimacy. So like maybe Drudge Report or fucking oh fuck man, whatever, the leftist news aggregator I look at sometimes, is the name of it is escaping me. Why are you so big? Um, hmm. You know, seems like that might be something you could answer with Google or a basic understanding of human biology. So does the onion, Joey. So does the onion. So is the Simpsons, for that matter. You needn't worry about them, Elena. They know nothing. Absolutely nothing. Respect my pronouns. That would be a name, not a pronoun. I think it's a really bad representation of the education system if people haven't figured out that basic distinction by the time they're 21 or 22. I'm gonna head to sleep before my Novelo comes from work. We're heading to Dos Caminos to eat tomorrow. Hope you add the Discord to debate soon. I will. I'll have to look through the I'll have to look through the stream when I get off of it to find your channel specifically, but I will do it. I want to get your opinion on something. I think kids should not be able to transition. I think you should be 18 or over, and I want to see your opinion on it. The best science seems to indicate that trans people's medical outcomes are vastly improved if they are allowed to start like the steps of transitioning earlier in life. Like when we're saying earlier in life, by the way, that might mean you get on HRT when you're like 14 or 15, and have like a reassignment surgery at like 18 or 19. It's not like we're talking about 5-year-olds here, which I feel like is what people are thinking when I think about like a trans kid. But like, if you've got somebody under that age that is like transitioning, that would be like a social transition, which is ultimately like, I mean, if a kid is really dedicated to exploring their gender in that way, I don't think that you should punish them for that. And if it doesn't just wear off as a phase in a month, which in most kids it does, and it actually like is a thing that they want to incorporate in the rest of their life, then yeah, like if you take them to a therapist and a doctor, and the medical and therapeutic consensus is that that kid is in fact trans and would benefit from being on puberty blockers before their body starts to make fundamental changes that will be harder to undo later in life, then I think that they should be allowed to get that treatment. And when appropriate, I think that they should be allowed to begin HRT as well, or to end puberty blockers if they get to a point in their lives when they feel like they are more comfortable with their gender as assigned at birth. What's wrong with waiting later in life? It's not that they're, well, okay, so here's what's wrong with, like, morally, it's not like there's, like, something wrong with trans people that can't transition until later in life. But pragmatically, it's better for a trans person's mental health and for our physical health if we can begin the process earlier in life when your bodies are more plastic and able to be pushed in a specific direction, I guess you could say, through the concerted will of the patient and their doctor. Yeah, for sure. No problem. I mean, it's just like the medically accepted opinion, you know? It's nothing all that unique. Not like there ain't a million people making the same point. Doctors in the Netherlands and various countries in Northern Europe have been making the point for years, actually. It's not a corncob pipe, it's a briar pipe. A million people can't all be wrong. Huh? Yeah, they can. That's just an appeal to popular authority. Oh. Ah! My friend. My lovely friend finally texted me again. Beautiful. And he sent me a picture with dicks. I'm not gonna look at it while I'm on stream, that's for sure. On this earth, I'd be willing to bet that there are a million different people that believe the earth is flat, yet we know they are wrong. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm sure you could cobble together a million fucking. I mean, there are well over a million people that are MAGA, and we know they're wrong on every goddamn thing. There are well over a million neo Nazis on this planet. We know they're wrong about every goddamn thing. It's 8 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd's in a line. There's an old man getting ready to sing a great song of his time. Sing us a song, you're the banana man. Sing us a song of your ass. For you're on the hook for a melody, and that melody better be crass. What's going on, Phoebe? How you doing? Joseph, I am so good. I'm sitting here trying to write a song about fucking TJ. I'm trying to rewrite Billy Joel's The Piano Man, but I don't remember all the lyrics, so I don't, you know. But I'm going to rewrite it to be about a DFF meetup. I'm going to start, you know what? I've been on a creative kick lately, and I'm going to start releasing some music, I think. Start releasing some music. I don't know how, I don't know how that works on YouTube. I've never really, I mean, I've done it. I've got some covers on my channel, but original music? That'll be interesting. One of the songs I'm working on is called The Hater Rap. And part of me thinks that I should write more raps and do like a little side hustle rap thing, even though it'll probably just be something for people to make cringe compilations of me about, you know? Um, but I've even thought of like a comical name and everything. Just call myself Lil Phoebes. Well, I just figure, you know, if I'm on if I'm on a creative kick anyway, I might as well start releasing some of these songs. Like for example, I rewrote the words to Casey Jones recently, made it about Charlie Kirk. And if I release that one, it's gonna be controversial. Do you have to shave your face? I mean, yes, pretty much daily. Not even necessarily because I grow enough hair for people to see it, but like for my own comfort, because I'll feel it, you know? Now Kirk wishes he had a black pilot. Oh, man. Oh. Actually, less controversial statement than anything in my song. Try to remember some of the words, because I'm bad about memorizing the words to my own songs. I just write them down and then forget them unless I'm playing them regularly. Nope. Nope, not going to do it. Not right now. I'm the worst Democrat? Oh, okay. Yeah, that tracks. I don't even have anything to say. All I follow are criminal cases. um, Dude, I think that there's a lot of fucking true crime nerd fucking material in the Charlie Kirk case, personally. Charlie Kirk died up there in public. Charlie Kirk, purveyor of hate. Charlie Kirk probably didn't earn it, but that's why we call it the Epstein fate. Oh, man. Oh, man. Dude, I hate it when the stream dies like this. I hate it. Gavin Newsom's spoiled little rich kid is useless as tits on a boar. He has zero leadership skills. He's a total corporate shill. Oh, yeah. Dude, I don't know why. Well, yes, I do. Here's the honest truth about why fucking dyed-in-the-wool Dems and shit libs are all getting behind Newsom and Kamala and that type of person as potential 2028 picks. It's because corporatism still owns the Democratic Party, and there is no significant move being made to wrest control back from the corporatists. Which is why I'm starting to think it's best for me to just start advocating for actual leftists and progressives to start looking for an independent third party that we can rally behind. Since when did the Democratic Party push corporate chills? I mean, if you think about it, it's been a long time coming. Like, FDR might be like the last example you could find of a staunchly anti-corporatist Democrat. But, like, pretty much everyone since then has been, like pro-corporate to some degree or another. I think the worst of this tendency began in the 90s with Bill Clinton's presidency. He was a total fucking corporate hack. But it's a tendency that continued through the Obama administration, and it's a tendency that hasn't stopped. It's only picked up speed. I mean, Kamala Harris was a total corporatist fucking shill, and a total sold out cop, too. Lies about her position on weed, lies about the evolution of her position on weed. I hope we're not here to defend someone getting shot for their views. Not exactly, no. No, I don't think it was right that he got shot. Certainly not. And my song isn't necessarily about that. It does kind of make light of the situation. But, sorry, jokes are still legal, as of right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm nowhere in my song does it say it's good that he got shot. That's not a part of the song. Charlie Kirk didn't die a martyr. Charlie Kirk died up there in vain. Charlie Kirk will always be remembered as a man who used a vision to make his fame. Phoebe, can a song end without a final chorus? Yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah, 100%. For example, I mean, some songs don't have a chorus at all. I Know the End by Phoebe Bridgers doesn't have a chorus, but it ends with this beautiful little 4-chord pattern. Driving out into the sun, let the ultraviolet cover me up when looking for a creation myth. Ended up with a pair of cracked lips, windows down. Scream along to some America First rock country song. A haunted house. Wait, what are the lyrics? A slaughterhouse, market mall, slot machines, fear of God, windows down, heater on, big bolt of lightning hanging low over the coast. Everyone's convinced it's a government drone or an alien spaceship. Either way, I'm not alone. I'll find a new place to be from. haunted house with a picket fence to float around and ghost my friends. No, not afraid to be alone. The end. No, I'm not afraid to disappear. The billboard said the end is near. I turned around, there was nothing there. Yeah, I guess the end is near. The end is near. Yeah, Taylor knows. Taylor knows. I was so hoping you were familiar with that album, or at least that song, Taylor. God, I was so hopeful. Because that song sounds like your thing. And I remember that I cried one time, after like discovering that song and everything. And, like we weren't friends at the time. And I was just like, man, I wish I could show this fucking song to her. Because, God, this has got the fucking vibes. It's got the vibes. A+ song to sob to it. Yes, yes, yes. At 3 a.m. in pure depression. Yes, 100%. I just thought about something. I already play 1979 tuned down, but why do I always play it so fast? Shakedown 1979. You never had the time. Live wire, you and I should meet. Na, na, na. Huh. I really could make that my own. Not like completely, but you know what I mean. What the fuck? Oh. Do you think Trump is evil? I mean, yeah, but like, so is most of the power structure. He's not like. I think that to the degree that he is uniquely evil, it is because he is like uniquely unfiltered and uniquely like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he's just got no regard for decorum or the standards and norms. But like, does that make him more evil or just more honest? I don't know. Like, the truth of it is, there are tons of people that are fucking fundamentally evil that have been in positions of power for a long time, and we need to root them all out if we're to have any hope of surviving as a civilization. Well, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, I don't think Trump has any fucking empathy. I think that, like I said, I think that to the degree that he is more evil than other people that have been in that position and shit like that, it's that he's just like so crass and has so little regard for standards and norms broadly, policy wise, and like, yeah, that I guess makes him more evil. Yeah, so yes, but I feel like people sometimes hyperfixate on Trump to the degree where they are sometimes willing to accept a Joe Biden instead of pressuring the Democrats to force that motherfucker out and allow an actual progressive to take the reins of power so that we can get some real progress in this country. Like, the fear of Trump cows people into a lot of bad decisions electorally. Damn it. I chose the World War III strategy here. You can't have World War III if you can't get gas. The globalist want World War III. I don't think he does, but he'd be getting on my nerves. It's all an act. I don't think that America has any plan outside of helping Israel to establish its Greater Israel plans and trying to establish like mineral and oil rights over the whole of the Middle East, and keep some of these Gulf states as like tourist destinations. Traveling, swallowing, Dramamine. Feeling space, breathing out Listerine. I'd said that I'd tell ya. You took the better part of me. If you could just trade it for everything. I'd said what I'd said, and you know what I mean. But I still can't focus on anything. We kiss on the mouth, but still cough down our sleeves. Literally, somebody said SpongeBob music. Oh shit, I'm going crazy, y'all. That is the highest note my guitar can play. What the fuck? When it gets time for the second show, I watch her dance and I watch her flow for $1. She dreams of Vegas and the desert strips, but she can dance and she can make a lot of money. Left her home in a pickup truck. Left her husband when he beat her up, and now she works all night. But that can't swim won't freeze her heart. No, the rain just rolls right off her back. She's gonna be alright. Tell me about the boulevards. Tell Tell me about your life in art. Tell me about the boulevard. 'Cause Europe always seems so far. Look so young and you talk so old. Lighten up the pain, might just take you home if you're lucky. Coaxing, and those bums on the corner tell you time. Tell you the stories for a nickel and a dime. You might learn something. And she stares so hard at those neon sights. Yeah, swear to God, she's gonna bust 'em up. She's gonna bust 'em up. Tell me about the boulevard. Tell me about your life in art. Tell me about the boulevards. 'Cause Europe always seems so far. Holds me close and pulls me aside. Whispers in my ear, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Kill ya just for trying. Kill ya just for trying. You don't have the money. You don't have the money. Just buy me a drink and we'll call it quits. Tell me all about your pretty boy face. Tell me all about your pretty boy face. Ha! That's fucking crazy. Ha! Oh my god. Y'all, I tuned those to about what I thought was right, and then I verified with my snark, and I was right. That is so fucking cool. There we go. GG has always been a very bad with folks. I just service. What's going on? No, I'm fine. I just get fixated on the music. Yeah, can we all get some teas? I don't want matcha though. I want a taro milk tea with boba. By the way, the reason why human beings like boba so much is because it satisfies an ancestral instinct within all of us to suck tadpoles out of a pond from a reed. It satisfies that ancient indulgent urge. There are not as many ponds and tadpoles and reeds around anymore, so we have to satisfy that craving through boba. Thank you for the laughing, son. I want to sip up some good tadpoles from a pond, but instead all I have is boba from Amazon. Thank you for the guitar. I read that article in the BBC. It is the traditional way slimy pearls were enjoyed. Yes, true. Yes. Side 10 song in 2020s? Yeah, dude. Here in my dingy room, with my pajamas on, adding more shit to my wish list on Amazon. Send to my home address a cornucopia of shit to distract me from agoraphobia. I dream of Hollywood and of a better life, but until that day, I'll beat up my wife. I wrote a masterpiece of gothic fiction. It sold 10 copies, so I face eviction. Please pay my rent for me and pay my legal fees, or I will accuse you of attacking my family. This state of misery, such an inspiring place, it moves me to punch my wife in the face. Her fat, stupid face. I will knock out all the fucking teeth. I like that video because Brett gets killed in the end, you know? Dawn kills him with a forklift. Is this song about me? No, Lord, no. You are not a fucking, like, delusional fat manatee living in Festus. No, Lord, no. You ain't nowhere near as big as Brett Keane. You ain't nowhere, like, you're actually smart and you can write properly and talk well and at length about esoteric topics and stuff in the news too. Like, you're way fucking more intelligent than Brett, and most importantly of all, you're not a multiple times convicted fucking wife beater, which Brett Keane is. Brett Keane, you're not as slick as you think. Caught in a lie, fuck knows how many times. Brett Keane, you're not as slick as I think. As slick as you think. Except for the sleaze that secretes from your teeth. Who is this song about? It's giving Lovecraft. It's about Brett Keane. You never heard me ranting about the manatee when we were living together? And we're going to diamond painting. Actually, I'm right now almost done. Has been hard. Aw, yay. That's awesome. Painting is a dope hobby. Dude, I started painting a thing when I was living in my van. And I've been carrying it around all these years. Because I don't have any paints anymore. But I need to get me some new paints. So I can keep painting that bitch. I want to get me a Bob Ross paint set. Do some wet on wet painting. That tweak out needs to be a GIF. No, it does not. Yeah, no, you're right. It does. That needs to be a GIF, and then someone needs to send it to me so that we can make it an emote for members. Are you going to beat the devil out of your brushes with turpentine? You know I will. So right here, you see we got a fan brush, and this thing's beautiful, very simple to use, very easy to use. And this is good for these finer details when you want to just add some branches to these trees here. And now that we're done with that fan brush, we're just going to click off the excess, and then we're going to dip it in a little bit of that paint thinner. We're going to beat the devil out of it. On a bottomless Lego budget, them shits get expensive. I am put off of building hobbies that leave me with something that just looks cool, but that I then have to haul around or disassemble or whatever. I used to like them, but you know what happened? I built a bunch of really cool Lego shit, and then one day I got home to find all my Legos in a fucking bag. And I was like, well, fuck that then. I mean, it wasn't the only building toy I ever played with, though. I tell you, the building toys I had the most fun with when I was a kid. I haven't ever played with them as an adult. Maybe I'd still have fun with them now. I don't know. But Connects and oh, what was the metal one? What is that metal building kit you can get that it comes with all these different pre-stamped metal sheets and shit, and you can build little boxes and stuff with it. You can build little fake pop guns and stuff like that. Erector. That's what it's called. I had an erector set. I had a couple of erector sets, actually. And then I had a number of different Connect sets. And Connects were the shit. Ow! That hurt my rib. Hi, Adam. Phoebe, what are you doing, silly? I don't know. I think I'm going crazy. Sometimes I'm like a baby, literally. I think sometimes, even as a 27-year-old woman, I'm still just kind of like fascinated by the fact that I'm a human with limited will that can like make my face do funny things. I'm the little stinker. Yeah, kind of. This fucking Taylor, the state we find my sister in when she swears she's sober. I love that I'm such a great sense of fucking. I'm such a great source of humor for you guys. That makes me happy. Oh yeah. Taylor, I made a playlist for you, but now I'm on the fence as to whether I should send it to you. Like, I want to, because every song in there is a part of my soul. Like, as cheesy as that sounds, you know what I mean by that. So there's a part of me that wants to send it just because, like, you know, like even if you don't necessarily like every song on it, there's still like a personal friendship value in it. But there's another part of me that doesn't want to send it because I know that some of it's going to be up your alley and some of it's not going to be. I'm not 100% sure which is going to be, and I don't know. I'm conflicted. And I went to look up that Bob Dylan song that you told me to look up, and then fucking forgot what the song was as soon as I popped up YouTube Music and typed in Bob Dylan. It was like Bob Dylan. Whoa. What was it? And I tried to find it in the stream and I couldn't find it, and the transcript wasn't available yet. So I'm a fucking dickhead who still hasn't listened to your song. A possibility that if you're likely when it comes to psychedelics in 2026 and technology. What is that old? What is that saying? I can't even remember who popularized it. It's like drop out, drop in something, or drop out, do something, drop in. I can't remember it. God damn it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm dirty, broke, beautiful, and free. And in my dreams, I am dirty, broke, beautiful, and free. My hands clenched in a fist, my face in a smile, after hitching too many miles. Yes! Turn on, tune in, drop out is a counterculture phrase popularized by Timothy Leary. Yes. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Yep. I mean, no disrespect, but you get offended if people don't use your pronouns properly. I don't really get offended, but at a certain point, it does become like a little confusing. I'm definitely going to correct someone if they use the wrong pronouns. But offended suggests that I like instantly become unhinged the minute somebody accidentally misgenders me, which is not the case. As far as the playlist, that's up to you. I probably will. I framed it as an introduction to Dirty Kid folk punk because I think there's a lot of shit within that genre that you would gel with, but it's hard for me to know which ones and to exactly to which degree. I don't know. Man, that era of my life colored my perspective and outlook and music taste probably as much as like the Northern Missouri era or the Mary era or anything. There's like 4 or 5 big eras of my life that I can point out as like, yep, that was foundational, and that's one of them. But I feel like it's one of these weird things that kind of makes it hard for me to relate to people. And sometimes even when I do think I'm relating, sometimes I'm not. I don't know how to explain it properly. I'm freezing here in Salem, by the way. That's horrible. I'm sorry. I hope you're able to get somewhere warm. And in my dreams, I am dirty, broke, beautiful, and free. My hands are clenched in a fist, my face in a smile, after hitching too many miles. As he lights an American spirit, he asks how I can smoke such shit. I tell him there's nothing like smoking GPC cigarettes, 'cause any smokes will kill ya, but these'll make you feel like it. What is your favorite song to play at the guitar? The guitar is beautiful. My favorite song to play on it? I don't know. I guess I don't have one because honestly, if I let any song become like too much of a favorite, I go between favorites. My current favorite is 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins, but it's changed through the years. There was a time when it was the Stable Song by Gurgan Iskov. There was a time when it was Each Coming Night by Iron and Wine. There's a time when it was do. There was a time when it was like New Slang by the Shins. There was a time when it was For an Old Kentucky Anarchist by the Orphans. You know, that's a song I think you'd really like, Taylor. Have I ever played that song when you were here? High above a forgotten mountaintop lay a garden, untended and dry. 'Twas the heart that hadn't felt children's feet running for their mother long ago, taught her children how to fly. You gonna have a call in Sunday, right? I'm gonna try. Itching to smoke a couple of those nice cigars. Well, that would be a good opportune time for it. And I've got my herbal courage. Maybe. Fair enough. 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 I think I'll make hot dogs tomorrow for dinner. For dinner. I think I'll make hot dogs tomorrow for dinner. For dinner. I'm gonna make them like cherry pie. I don't know. PB, you gotta throw another cool documentary show soon. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That would be another good goal, wouldn't it? Oh, man. Yes. My church board is packed. Can't join you there. Ugh. Do you like yapping about your hyperfixations? Yes. Never occurred to me that politics might be a hyperfixation of mine. But, like, it is. Holy shit. Maybe that's why I'm not perceived as autistic as I am. Because I've managed to land on hyperfixations that read to a normie as being like high-minded concerns rather than autistic fixations. Interesting. You think you might be autistic, Taylor? You think? You think? Well, what? I mean, what gives you doubt? not being diagnosed with it, well, that's the most valid form of doubt, for sure. It's the most valid form of doubt. I can't diagnose you either, but it wouldn't surprise me, I'll tell you that much. Zippity-doo-dah, dippity-day. I was cleared for OCD by my therapist. Everyone always says that. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, as an autist who is diagnosed, it wouldn't shock me. It very much would not surprise me, having lived with you and having been autistic my whole life and diagnosed and all that. It wouldn't surprise me. I can't diagnose you, but it wouldn't surprise me. Bye, Joey. People started saying it more when I started saying inside things out loud, like this song is the wrong temperature. Yeah. Although that honestly reads as maybe having a hint of synesthesia as well, which can be a thing on its own or an autism symptom, so fair enough. Ha. Do you guys like folk punk? You seem like people that would. My breakfast is straight out the medicine cabinet, a remedy for the aftermath of my habits. Sometimes it's the ones who try to help that hurt the most. I feel like we're playing tug of war and I'm the rope and you keep on pulling, but you keep on pulling and I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. Ramshackle Glory? None of their songs off the top of my head that I can play on the guitar, but yeah, I'm familiar. We are folk punk, that is true. We definitely are. You know why I hold on so hard to these like digital nomad ideas and stuff like that? It's because there's a part of me that needs to believe that my life isn't over. That I'm not looking down the barrel at 30 years of doing this, even if I'm doing it in incredibly, an increasingly more professional ways, and I'm making more and more money off of it. And then at some point after that 30 years, I get to retire, and I'm still probably going to want to do this on some level. Do I travel then? You know? There's just a part of me that I think will always want adventure. I crave it, no matter what I do, no matter what situation I'm in. You got that something else you always wanted to keep you more rooted. It's not over, it's better. You got that something else you always wanted to keep you more rooted. True. True, Taylor. True. I think it's just adjusting to it and adjusting to it and growing up a little bit, I guess. I don't know how to put it. It's like now you're right, do definitely have a thing that keeps me more rooted, something that tethers me to the ground, keeps my mind from drifting too far into the clouds. And as time goes on, I'm starting to think about the practical realities, If I'm doing this job, why couldn't I take 2 or 3 weeks of vacation a year? Maybe more. Why couldn't I take 6 weeks of vacation a year and just stagger it throughout the year? And then me and that, feature of my life which tethers me that you were mentioning in such vague terms. Uh, we can go on adventures together. Just limited time scale adventures. You're right. It's not over. It's better. There's just, and I guess it's good to talk about this shit because it helps me to work through it. It's not that I want to abandon it all for fucking some bullshit life living in a minivan again. It's that I want to make sure I can eventually recapture some of that magic. You can. My sister did a lot with hers. Saw so many things. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I mean, if I'm working this kind of job where I've got the ability to, I could uh, I could totally buy an RV, like a Class C RV, basically, or a Class B or whatever it's called, the one that's like on like an ambulance chassis or whatever. I could totally buy one of those and take it out 3 or 4 times a year to different places around the U.S. Do a once yearly vacation to Missouri. Do a once yearly vacation out to the Southwest. Do a once yearly vacation out to the Northeast. And then maybe Pacific Northwest or West Coast, maybe, or just one of the coasts in general. In another life, Phoebe worked for 60 Minutes and chased down news stories. Unironically, there was a time in my life when I wanted to do that. And it was realizing that a modern journalist's job is basically to be a mouthpiece for other people's ideas. That's when I became disinterested in it and started becoming interested in being like an independent media personality like I am now. So now, if at some point I get big enough, maybe that RV has like a business purpose too. Maybe I really could be chasing down news stories on my own, like I read about some crazy thing that's like a developing story and I decide to drive out there, rent a little fucking parking, or not parking, but like some kind of campsite nearby where I can get a slot in and use that as like my base of operations while I keep tabs on this story directly on the ground. My BF was a journalism major. He does not work in journalism. Dying art. Yeah, no, definitely. And it's a dying art, and it's also an art that's incredibly hard to get into if you're not like networked with the system or something like that. Like, I probably have a job closer to journalism than your boyfriend does, and I'm not a fucking journalism major. It's fucking sad, honestly, how little the amount of passion and effort someone is willing to dedicate to something meaningfully translates to fucking success at that. It's just kind of a miracle of the times that I ended up becoming as successful on the platform as I have. Well, yes, because he's an EMT. Well, yeah. I wasn't trying to imply that my job is necessarily like super close to fucking journalism, but I'm a socio-political commentator, so that's like journalism adjacent. And most jobs are not, so I just figured. And it sucks because I guarantee you, if he had a fucking, if he has a degree in journalism, he had to go through a ton of effort to get that, go through a ton of bullshit. All you do is comment on what the real journalists are doing. Uh, yeah, kinda. So, you please move to Canada? Are you gonna pay me? Who's today's George Knapp? I don't think we have one, honestly. There is no modern Edward McMurrow. There is no modern Walter Cronkite. Nancy Grace is still just Nancy Grace. True. True, true, true. Current favorite video game to play? Probably War Thunder. I haven't really been playing any of it lately. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, y'all. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you all around some other time. Ta-ta for now.